Okay, we're recording, so, okay. Hey guys, my name's Angelise. I'm a last year nursing student. I have 7 weeks left to graduate. I'm really excited. So thank you back for coming to my YouTube channel. And today I have someone very special and someone I personally look up to. So do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. My name is Michelle, more commonly known as Mickey. And I met this wonderful young nursing student in the gym of all places because she's trying to better herself so she can tell people how to better themselves from real life.
Yes.
So I am a nurse, an RN, who went on to be a nurse practitioner. I've had several years of experience with both. And what's interesting is that I really love the bedside nursing as an RN. I still think it's a wonderful profession to be in. And now I can make more decisions and have been making those decisions as an advanced practice nurse for, let's say, many, many years. That's enough. We can just say many, many.
Exactly. So, wow, that's really admirable. But I remember all the stories that you would tell me in the gym. And there was just this one story that I never forgot about you being in nursing school. So do you think you can share that with people? Because I think people would like it, and it just, hearing that motivated me, you know? So I just want someone else to hear it and let it motivate them as well.
So that story is favorite story of many people. And at the time, usually when I'm telling it, it was just such a real life experience that got me even more motivated to do better and better, that everybody really drinks it in and has their own twist on it. So I think Annalise she heard the story at a time where she really needed to hear something or someone who also was having a hard time in nursing school. So when I started nursing school, I was really young. I was a young person. I was very naive, young-minded, and I had all these people in this class. I think we were 52 people who started that class, men and women, or boys and girls of all ethnic backgrounds, and people at different levels of their profession. Some people wanted to start another profession. So I was very intimidated. And at that time, they would post our grades on the wall. We would just walk up to the wall and your name and social security number would be on the wall, and you and everybody else would know where you were in the findings of the 52 people in the entry-level nursing student classes at that time. And I would walk up to that wall and look for my name from the bottom of the list. And this lady, who was also in nursing school, she had been a teacher in her past profession. She said to me, "Little girl, what are you looking for?" I said, "I'm looking for my name." And she said, "Well, why are you looking at the bottom of the list?" I said, "Well, there's so many people here." She said, "Well, let this be the last time you look from the bottom of the list. You ensure that your name is coming in 1, 2, and 3. And she was such a, a forceful teacher in the first place, like your high school principal or, your math teacher that was always so strict. She had that effect on me that I took it to heart. She meant it, and so did I. I said, "Okay, yes, Miss Jackson, I'm gonna look for my name from the top of the list." And that motivated me to really believe that I should be on the top of this list too, regardless. We have a lot of excuses why we should just settle for that C or be one of those that's just on the list anywhere. And that wasn't good enough for her. She felt, if you're gonna do this, then you should come expecting your name at the top of the list, not expecting your name at the bottom of the list. She thought I was good enough to be at the top of the list. So then I thought, okay, then there must be something. I must have answered something in class. There must be something this woman saw in me that thought that I could be at the top of the list. And the more we became friends, the more I realized that she just wanted me to do better than I thought I could. So instead of thinking that you should be at the bottom of the list, do enough so you know that you would be at the top of that list. And especially because everybody else sees you looking at you, your standards are from the bottom of the list up. It should be from the top of the list.
Yep. I love that, Mickey. That is my favorite story. And it's motivating because I know that you were telling me like you also faced some adversity being in that class. Like you, if I remember correctly, I think it was just you and another girl that were like the
Right,
only Black girls in that room. So it was
right,
even more of like a slap to the face to other people that, yes, look at my color, that doesn't mean anything. And I
right.
am meeting the top, you know? So I love that, Mickey, so much.
Of all that 52 people in that class, there was, yes, I think there were five of us that started the class, five Black people, not just African Americans, but I'm Jamaican. I was born in Jamaica. That lady, Miss Jackson, she's also Jamaican, and three other Black people who were born in America and raised in America. And we stood out because the expectations were not like everybody else. We had people of privilege that wondered why we should get any help. At that time, grants and loans and fundings were a little bit different. They had funding for need-based, of course, but for Black people who would enter that kind of profession, they would give you some grants. And we got flack for that too. Why is the grant based on the color of my skin? Well, they just, FIU wanted to try to even out something, give somebody else a chance. So our question became, are we going to expect that we should be here because we're Black or because we got the funding that they're entitled to pass us, or are we going to get frowned upon because we're Black and that's the expectation? So that was yet another reason, because there's going to be always reasons to blame Black for something. But if your answers to the questions are correct, there's no way to unanswer them.
Yep.
So our goal was 100%. We had two grades, A and F, 99 and 100. We had two grades, and we're shooting for an A, not an F. So regardless of how you answer the question, regardless of your grades, that could never be taken away from you because you were Black. If you have a presentation and our presentation was 10 times better than everybody else's, you couldn't deny that. That wasn't because she was Black. That was because we left everybody in awe. So that was what we set out to do. Okay, we're Black, and there's always going to be a reason. But it wasn't an excuse for us, because we
Yep.
didn't have chances to say, okay, we're Black. You should look at that. They were going to fail us. They were looking to fail us for that. So since we're Black, we're going to make that 100% on those tests. And our presentations are going to wow everybody. We went far and wide. If we had a presentation, we would get a rabbi, the bishop from the Catholic Church. I mean, our goal was to go all in, and we did.
Wow. And look at you now. It's so motivating. That's why I asked you, I was like, Mickey, please, I want people to hear your story. It's so, because it motivated me. I remember I was like in farm or med surg, and I was like,
Yes.
I'm really going through it. And you told me that story. And I think it's something that I always kind of go back on. And I'm like, if she did it, she made it at the top. Angie, you have no excuses but to meet the mark. And then also, if you guys don't know, Mickey works out. And I'm telling you, she looks better than me. Like, I'm telling you guys, she looks better than me. So I was like, if she can do it, like I have to just continue to put in the work. And it's the same work that you even put in the gym. I think that I don't go to the gym as often because I'm trying to focus on school, but that same work ethic that we both put in the gym, I just took that and put it into my education. And I was like, okay, Angie, let's go hard at this. Like if Lolita is on my back watching me. So
It's the same thing to take into that profession. It is the sexiest thing to look good and
yes.
feel good. And somehow when you look in the mirror and you look good and you feel good, it gives you an inner confidence, of course. But to know a lot of things is even sexier.
Yes.
So you put that strength and that energy into the gym, and you bring that same energy to your profession. I remember feeling like, oh my goodness, look at that nurse. She knows everything. oh, she's so sexy. And then here now, many of the nurses that I worked with as a new nurse, a graduate nurse, have become my patients. And they're proud to say, I was that girl's first nursing teacher. That was her first clinical instructor. I'm I, I I'm afraid to tell people, oh look, this was my first clinical instructor. I thought she was the brightest. I just wanted to be her. And now these people are my patients saying that they're so proud. They go everywhere and say, oh, I have a nurse practitioner that's my doctor. She takes such good care of me. And because I give that much energy to the gym and to them, it's a huge reward to know that knowing all of this is really, really sexy.
Yep.
And then you go to the gym and you put your all into it and you look sexy. It just is a great feeling to know people look at you that way too. But first, you have to give them something to impress.
Yeah.
I have to show Annalise that, yes, I'm impressive. So you walk in that same chapter that you preach, that same chapter you're trying to fill out. You have to walk in it. So wonderful young nursing students can say, okay, I like that. Because I remember doing that. I like that girl. She looks good in that white dress, but look at her running that code. Oh my God, when will I ever know that much? I remember being in awe of a lot of nurses.
Yep.
And now I'm that nurse that they can say, oh, she's so good. That's really great feeling.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I can't wait till one day, like, come back and call you and be like, Mickey, I'm running my own codes. Like,
Yeah, and that's gonna happen. That's what is so awesome.
yeah,
I
I
love
can't.
this profession.
I
There's a lot of negativity to be said about the profession, but it is what you make of it. I don't have anything negative to say about the profession. If you put yourself in an awkward job, in a job that doesn't pay well, and you're busting your butt and you're complaining every day, that's on you. You put yourself in that position. You know, they say that if you're working at a profession that you would do if they couldn't pay you, you know you found your profession. And I can say that a long time ago. If I had to show up to an army base and take care of all these patients without being paid, that's not a difficult thing to say, oh, I don't want to go. That's an easy yes. That's an easy yes. That's when you know, okay, I've arrived. This is what I'm gonna do. And I'm barely ever at work because it excites me. I got through this code.
yeah.
You know, when you're the person, the last person that a person sees before they close their eyes and go to the forever and ever amen, it's sometimes is very fulfilling because you're their touch with the real world and the forever and ever amen, whatever you decide that to be. If you're that last person to touch that patient or that person, and you can say, you know, your dad died or your daughter died, but she was warm, she was smiling, I made her comfortable. That's a hell of a feeling on the inside. That's a great thing to be a part of.
Yep.
Even if you have a rough day, it meant that you were taking care of somebody, something went terribly wrong or terribly right, and you're tired.
Yep.
That's it, you're tired. Something went terribly wrong, you had to work even harder for that outcome, and then you're tired.
Yep.
That's what's gonna happen. You're tired. But if you know you have fulfilled yourself in this profession, you get tired, you go home, you go to the gym, you take a shower, you make sure you stick to Lolita's diet, you refocus, and you do it again.
It's true. It's true. So why did you go into nursing? Like, you just wanted to be in the service of other people? Was there a specific reason that you wanted to go into the field?
So, you know, nursing chose me because when I got to this country, when I got to Miami, I was just out of high school. I was 16 years old and they didn't know what to do with me in the colleges. So FIU had no place for me because they didn't understand how a 16-year-old could be done with high school. And actually, you know, in Jamaica, they give you some college type classes. I was done with those too. So they really had no idea where I would fit in. When I went to, my mom took me to Miami-Dade, and my counselor at Miami-Dade was from the UK, and she was very familiar with our type of education. So she put me in some pre-med classes. She chose those classes for me. So you do your basic humanities, English, math, and I pretty much just tested out of the English and the math classes. And she put me, she said, okay, let's see if you want to do medicine. So I did it. So I was pre-med for the first maybe 2.5 years of school. And then after doing all kinds of biochemistry and physics and all sorts of stuff, I said, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to work in a lab. I don't even know if I like patients. I don't even know if I like the smell of a hospital. So I went and at that time, there used to be candy strippers. I went to the hospital and volunteered. And one of the nurses signed me up for the nursing program at FIU. She said, you're done with Miami-Dade, so let's put you in this nursing program. And she filled out the application. At that time, it was nominal. And so I went to the classes. I went to the classes, and I went to the next class. And they said, okay, you're doing really good in this class. You want to just go into this nursing program? So I just said, okay, another okay, because I didn't want to do pre-med. I had been years in school, never saw a patient. I don't even know at that time if I liked people. So let's do nursing. And so I was a nurse's aide, and I thought that was real cool. But at that time, the nurse's aides did everything. The RNs were not doing anything. They were revered. They sat at the desk and they just wrote in a book all day long. They wrote. So I thought that's kind of cool. They get a lot of money and they're not really doing anything. The nurse's aide is doing everything. So maybe if I become an RN, I can just do the nurse's aide work, because I kind of like that. You talk to people and you learn things from all these people. So I did a nursing program. I got out of school, and then when I was at FIU, I did a lot of things. Like I founded the Nurses Association, and I did student government, and I got into a lot of things.
Wow.
So then they suggested, my dean, the dean of nursing at that time, suggested that in 5 years I should come back and do a PhD or do a master's degree in something. I said, lady, can you just give me that one, like that, just sign on the dotted line and get that license. Deuces, I'm out of here. No more school for me. This is too hard. It was tough. Ooh, it was hard. And then I had that lady, Miss Jackson, who's telling me, you got to be at the top of the list every time. I was done. I was proud. RN, that was like amazing to me. And then after I got out of nursing school, I did the GRE and I scored really high. So I said, okay, I'm this awesome person. I'm going to grad school. But in the graduate classes, I had all these people who were professors and CEOs. I got so intimidated, I stopped. I'm too young for this. So I started nursing, and I worked on a lot of different departments in nursing, learned a lot. And the more I learned, the sexier it got just to know a lot.
Yep.
And then after about 15 years, one of my managers said, I think you should do, FIU just started their nurse practitioner program. I think you should do that too. I said, more school? I'm good right here. This is more school? I'm like, I know so much. It's a wonderful thing here. I worked in the cath lab, I worked in the ER, I worked trauma, I worked CVICU. I was good because I was rolling. And then she signed me up for the master's program. And so I did it.
Wow. And then
so nursing really chose me.
I see that what a story. That's something
Mm-hmm.
talent and different. I haven't heard someone's story like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm blown away.
Really?
Yeah. And so you said that you got like grandfathered in. Like, how did that work? Because I know that nurse practitioners now, like, it's a whole nother different
Right.
ball game nowadays.
Right.
Like, you have to go to school. So how's that now? And how did it work before?
Yeah. When I went to school, the thing to do after being an RN for so many years was clinical nurse specialist. That means you're the nurse educator for wherever, corporate America, in the hospitals, in the schools. So a lot of girls who went back to school did clinical nurse specialist. When I went to school, when I went to grad school, I had to have a stacked CV or resume. I had to say all these wonderful things that I had done, all this experience that I had. You have to publish an article somewhere. You have to defend a thesis, get it bound and put in a library. And you have to write the thesis question before you can actually sit down to apply to go to the grad school. So it was a lot more in-depth requirements for grad school at the time I went to school. So the research, you had to do research, you had to do a study that accompanied research with it. My research took me a year. It included editors from nursing magazines in the UK. I had on my committee, there was the dean of the nursing school at FIU at that time, the dean of the statistics department at Barry. So I aimed really high. I had all these deans on my committee. And then I defended this thesis that took me a year. It was simply on communication and how different cultures communicated. So as years went on, what happened is that less nurses with experience didn't want to leave the bedside to go into academia because they weren't paying well. So teachers would just be not necessarily nurse educators, they were just teachers. Some were nurses who got tired of working at the bedside and went back to teach. As a result, nursing schools had long lines, long waiting lists to get into school. So they dumbed down the program, began to have less requirements. When they started to do that, then PAs, physician assistants, became more popular because you could get out of school faster. You didn't have to be a nurse, but you could work in the capacity of a nurse practitioner. So as time went on and the nurse practitioner programs became had less requirements to complete or even to enter, then PAs became more popular. And as a result, even some RNs decided to become PAs rather than nurse practitioners. So now to even up the score between a nurse practitioner who got out of grad school, like I did, with doing all that stuff, and somebody who got out of school now, like Montia, one of the nurses I work with, they had to make more requirements. And that's why now they're trying to have the entry level into nurse practitioners be at the doctoral level.
Yep.
And when that happens, I'll be grandfathered in because my requirements at that time were so much more than what they're requiring now.
Wow.
You get me?
Yes. Wow. That's
Yeah.
awesome though.
Yeah.
And it's
but
not,
I prefer my way because I could even, at this time, I even have a whole lot of clinical research experience because when I got out of school, I had to do that huge research.
Yep.
So I've done many clinical trials now, which was a part of my whole nurse practitioner program. So that qualified me immediately.
Yep. Wow.
Still more excitement.
Exactly. And now look at you, professional, self-made. You are literally the definition of like women empowerment, and how honestly I hope, like, I look up to you, Mickey. I really do. I think you're a phenomenal woman, and just everything that you've done, it shines. It shines. First of all, physically, spiritually, you look good. Mentally, I'm sure you're there too. Like, you just look like amazing, Mickey. And I'm just very, very proud to be here and talk to you. And again, I've even at the gym, I was like, oh my God, my brother, when he sees you, he's like, I love seeing that lady. She looks so good. I'm like, I know, bro. She looks amazing. So I wanted to ask you if there was like one advice that you would give to current nursing students now, and anyone who wants to go into the field of nursing, like what would you tell them?
Yeah, I think it is the one profession that allows you to do most things.
Yeah.
So if you're a banker and you're stuck as being a banker. But if you're a nurse, you're an RN, you can be a teacher, you can be a research specialist, you can work for an attorney. There's so many more things that you can do. So I would encourage, I would encourage anybody thinking about it, that you should do it. There's nothing to think about. I'll tell everybody that it's very hard. It's very difficult. But everything is difficult until you know a lot about it. And even when you know a lot, the thing is to keep knowing a lot. You got to keep pushing forward, keep knowing a lot.
Yep.
It does get a little bit discouraging when you can't figure out what's the RASP system. I can tell you that if somebody asked me to describe what the RASP system is today, what? I don't know. But I can tell you if I have a patient with an endocrine problem or a renal problem, I can tell you what that RASP system is doing to them. You just have to be prepared to know a lot about a lot. And then with nursing, the sky's the limit. You never stop. You never run out of branches to climb onto, or you never run out of things to change about your profession. It is the one thing that rewards you until the end of time. You never have to really retire. So now, at this point in time with this pandemic, they asked a lot of nurses to come out of retirement, to go back at the bedside, to help settle down this pandemic and all the issues it takes with isolation work. Because when we got out of school too, then it was HIV. It wasn't a pandemic, but it was a scary thing. So all those retired nurses that had to work through that virus and not knowing what it was, they're back at work now, helping everybody to calm down. Listen, this is not the flu. We really can get through this. And we can get through this. But you have to know a lot. You have to be prepared to look for your name at the top of the list. Expect your name to be at the top of the list. We never slept. There was something called no-dose that we would take routinely at a particular time every day. There was no time to sleep, because if you slept, that's a whole chapter we could have gotten through with that hour's worth of sleep. That's a waste of time. Be prepared to know everything. And when you think you know everything, then do it again. Know some more again. Don't look for excuses. No teacher likes you. Just go ahead with that. The teachers don't like me. Give them the reason for that not to matter. I'm going to make 100% on this test. Like me or not, you can't deny that it was a fantastic presentation. You can't deny that I got every question right. So make the extra mile to make it work. Be the best one in the class. Be the best one all the time. Don't sleep. Don't sleep. Don't even nap. Because when it's done, then you're here. It's just, okay, I'm here. I'm like everything. I am everything. Yep. We're being called heroes. I thought about that when somebody said, oh, when we were in the middle of the pandemic and somebody said, oh, well, thank you for your service. I said, I wasn't in the military. I just left that unit. That's what I've been doing that, it's been 30 years. I wasn't in the military. I just did. This is what I'm doing. This is what I do. There's no thanks necessary. You don't need to call me an angel. Don't call me a hero. I am a nurse. I have surpassed that. I am a nurse, not a hero. I do this with or without a pandemic. I am an RN. I am a nurse. I am beyond superhero. I am RN.
I love you, Mickey. I love you for this very reason. And this is her same energy in the gym. Anything that she does, she excels. And that's why I've always been fond of her. Oh my God, Mickey. This is why I asked for this interview, because but it's true. I like that you say that. I was grocery shopping the other day and I was wearing my scrubs and someone's like, thank you for your service. And I was like, I'm not in the military.
I'm not in the military. I'm not in the military. RN. I'm not in the military. I can do that. They get it mixed up. We're not heroes. We are RN. We choose to do this. We study for it. We embrace it. We're getting paid for it, but we're supposed to save lives, We've been doing this. This is what we have been doing. This is not new. Whether we declare war or not, I am RN, not a hero. I am beyond that. I am war or not. I am RN,
Yeah.
Not hero. RN.
RN. That's right.
Yes. RN. Don't call me hero. RN.
I love it, Mickey. And it's like, and I love that you said that education is sexy. I love that. And it's true. And that's how I've always felt. I'm like, Mickey, I think you kind of know like a bit about my family and just who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Even at the gym, I've always been, like I just always wanted to focus on my career. And I was young. I was 18. I was like, you know what? I know that I want this for my future life, for my future
Mm-hmm.
family. So I've always had that focus, and that's what I'm saying. I've always looked up to you, and how like you would just walk into the gym with your Mercedes Benz, and I'm just like, oh, I love Mercedes, like, and just
I like that. I like
I
that.
you know what, but I think that it's important that sometimes people like girls like me, they want to portray something, like they think that they need to show their boobs or their
Mm-hmm.
ass to feel important. And in my head I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, you don't, like you can
Mm-hmm.
educate yourself, you can be beautiful still with just your education. And I love that you said that, like education is sexy, because nowadays
Mm-hmm.
my main thing is that we're teaching this to the youth, that you need to show your boobs to be famous
True.
on social media, and that's not true. You can be much more than that,
So true.
not having to
So
show
true.
anything, you know so, and that's why I took this approach. I want young girls to understand that you can educate yourself and be sexy. So I'm
So
happy
true.
you said that.
So true. So true.
Yeah.
So true. But I
So,
like your energy.
oh, you do.
I like your energy.
Oh my.
You're always this, like you say, good vibe. You're always this positive person. Because
Oh,
there's a lot to be said about, there's a lot of negativity to be said every day about something. But you took this opportunity to say, listen, we can get support from other people. I see people all the time. And you took your heart of hearts to say, let me show you what I found. So that says a lot about you too.
thank you, Mickey.
Whether or not you choose to be a nurse, you chose to be a helpful soul in the first place. So you're already being RN before you even graduated.
Yeah.
Because this is to tell people, listen, we can support each other.
Yeah.
There's help. There's better. Let me show you better. You
Yeah.
took this time and this opportunity to say, look, people, come on, we can really do good. Look
Yeah.
at this person. That takes something. Generally, I think it's in our innate behavior to act selfish. And that's what you'll find a lot of. You're sharing everything that you've discovered about this profession. That's not going to always be there, but you're not that disappointed kind. You're going to lead the pack anyway, because you know what's right. That comes out of your heart. So you are a very motivating, very uplifting person in the first place
Thank you.
without even trying.
Thank you. I haven't found that like nothing good comes from being at a negative environment. Even like again, I go back to, I think you know how I work out in the gym. Like I just need to breathe for 1 second and I can
Mm-hmm.
do the whole routine all over again. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just the same way that I've moved about life. It's just my mentality has just been like, Angie, keep going. Look at
Mm-hmm.
this in a positive way. Even if I don't feel like doing the workout, I'm like, you know what, Angie? After that workout you feel like you're on cloud nine, so let's go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the same mentality that I've always had. And I think it goes a lot with my upbringings. I said this in another video, but I'll tell you, like my family, my mom especially, she was never the type of mom, I used to run track and field and cross country. She was never the type of mom to clap for me in the middle of the race. No, my mom was at the finish line waiting for me to finish because she doesn't expect anything less.
Right. Right.
So that's the way that I grew up. And
Yeah.
I what I start I get done. And then for me, I just don't like being mean to people. I know what it's like for
Mm-hmm.
other people to be mean, like I felt it, and I don't like that. So in my head I'm like, if I can be nice to someone, then let's do it,
Let's
because
do
I
it.
don't gain anything from being a bitch. Okay, like I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna tell you
Mm-hmm.
guys how it is, because
True.
it needs to be said in that way, because sometimes people don't understand. And
True.
I find fulfillment making someone else's day and try to help other nursing students out, because nursing school, like I've seen it. People don't even like sharing notes. People don't
True.
like
Right.
helping other people. And I'm like,
Right.
we're in a profession that we're supposed to care about people. So why don't we care about
Mm-hmm.
our colleagues? You need
Mm-hmm.
the notes? Okay, here you go. Like let's help each other. Let's uplift each other. But you don't see that nowadays. It's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of high school, and I'm not with that. And so that's why I wanted to make this video, so that other people can see that yes, there are good like yourself, good nurse practitioners out there that are willing to help. And just you sharing your story, I'm sure is gonna impact someone's life, because it's
Mm-hmm.
very motivating.
I like that. I like that.
Of course. And guys, oh my, I'm telling you guys, Mickey looks better than any 20-year-old. Like,
She's a little prejudiced because she knows I love her. She's a little prejudiced, but we both work hard. She has more energy than Energizer Bunny, but that's who she is. That's who Angie is.
thank you.
More energy than everything.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully I get to go back to the gym soon. I'm done in like 7 weeks, so I'm gonna start applying to jobs, but I can't wait to start working out with you again.
This is your peak week now.
Yes.
This next few months will be your peak week. You go put your head down and you go all in.
It's
Go
true. I
all
didn't think
in.
of it like that, because I had to start prepping for the NCLEX, the exit exam. I just have one nursing school exam left.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
You're right. It's peak week for me.
It's peak week. That's right. And you're prepping. You putting in your prep. It's peak week for you. Put your head down. No breaks.
I
Yeah.
like that. It's peak
Yeah.
week.
It's peak week.
Oh my God. Well, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please go follow Mickey. I'm gonna link all of her social medias down below, so you guys can follow her in her journey. She posts like a lot of, I think you post more of like family related, but the gym too. You guys can see her. I'm gonna try to like post it here. She looks phenomenal. I can't stress that. But yeah, you guys, so thank you for watching this video. It means a lot to the both of us. And yeah, subscribe if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you have any other questions, just comment down below and I'll make sure to answer. So bye, you guys.
Awesome. Awesome.